Hi everyone, my name's Anthony Gallegos, and I'm with Ryan Clements.
Hello, sir.
And we both work at IGN.
We both work at IGN. Hello.
And we're checking out the Neverwinter beta. This is the MMO made by Cryptic Entertainment. So this is a true Dungeons and Dragons sort of game. I mean, it's based on the Neverwinter universe, which it's not a direct sequel to things like Neverwinter Nights, Neverwinter Nights 2, but it does take place in that same setting. You actually get to go to the town of Neverwinter and all that.
You got this intense dwarf dude on the screen. Let's talk about him.
Well, I was going to start by
What's this guy's name?
We could make a character.
Oakenshield?
We could make a character.
Barrel Breath. Thunderhammer. Come on.
Let's make a dwarf. Let's make a dwarf. Yeah, I like that.
Wait, what else do we have though? What else do we got? We got a human, dwarf,
we got
halfling.
Yeah,
oh,
so
the little halfling babies.
Human, elf, half elves. There's the halflings. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Dwarves.
What's
of
it?
course.
I think the only that's the only race I don't recognize.
Yeah, it's like semi-demon. Like
Ooh,
it's like
goodness.
kind of like a demon.
And then
mix.
oh man, the ancient coming soon race.
who the heck knows what that is, right?
Okay, what should we make?
I don't know. I was thinking I could probably make something like I don't know, a halfling. Let's see. Halflings get a chance to deflect incoming attack, some dexterity bonuses. They're probably great rogues.
They're bold.
We could just make.
Let's just make a dwarf.
Okay. Okay. Let's make a dwarf.
Thunderhammer. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Oh, he's freaking out.
So the classes we have are Guardian Fighter, which is sort of like a warrior defense class, and then we have a Devoted Cleric, which is obviously the priest, healer class. Trickster Rogue, which I mean you should be able to figure out what these are just by the
right, sure. And then it comes
Fighter, Cleric, Rogue.
Are the classes bound by race at all, or can anybody access these?
As far as I can see, it seems like every race can pretty much be whichever.
Okay.
So actually, I just skipped out of that because I'm a dummy.
No, it's fine.
So
that little dwarf lady.
So we'll make a Guardian Fighter. These are like your warriors, sort of, and so you can roll your scores, but really all that matters is whether or not you're going to have the points in Constitution, Strength. These are like typical D&D stats, right?
Sure.
Strength determines how hard you hit. Constitution determines the amount of life you have.
Right.
Charisma, whether
charisma is like how much great at a party you are.
Yeah, personality, persuasiveness.
Sure.
So I'm gonna, since I'm a warrior, I'm gonna go with the +2 Strength, +2 Constitution, because you also get to choose a racial ability bonus.
Great.
Which dwarfs can either do Strength or they can do like a Wisdom.
It's pretty racist, but let's keep going.
Well, it is actually, but intentionally so.
I love character creation is still one of my favorite things about RPGs and MMOs.
Well,
it's so
especially
fun.
if you're going to spend like tens of hours with a character, right? So
I like how it sounds like you're going to be like tens of thousands of hours. But it's just tens of hours.
Maybe, yeah, it could be tens of thousands,
or it could be hundreds.
Let's see. Well, yeah. So I'm not going to do too much just for the sake of brevity in the video, but yeah, you can get pretty in depth. Obviously, you can't put horns.
Let's
on
throw some tattoos
dwarfs.
on this girl, though. Come on. Let's get this done. Tattoos, right above scars.
Okay. Well,
yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's get her some Claw of Winter right there. Beautiful.
Okay.
Look at that. I'm ready. Oh dear, this is inappropriate. Toned dwarf. Do you want to look toned like a dwarf?
Well, they do.
Join the Claw of Winter program.
You can change things like their heel size, and then you can also change their breast size.
Well, that's a little. Welcome to MMOs, folks.
Yeah, I mean they allow a lot of character customization here.
Great.
Let's see.
Leg bulk.
She clearly needs gigantic feet and way bulky legs.
Yes, yes. This is my kind of lady.
Hands.
This is my kind of lady.
Really
thick,
long
hands.
Those
are like raptor hands. Oh my goodness. Scary. Arm bulk. Yeah, just make her real strong looking. I mean, this is a warrior that's gonna save the universe. She needs to be.
So after you get to do that, you get to kind of choose like a little bit of your backgrounds, like which town you come from.
Okay.
And then when you pick a town you come from, there are many sub things. Like you can either be like if I want, for instance, if you pick Baldur's Gate, which is a town that a lot of D&D people recognize.
Of course.
You can be a refugee, you can be a mercenary, or you can be a worldly swashbuckler. It's just like kind of like your backstory. You're not that when you start in the game, but that's kind of like where you've been coming from.
Okay. You get it if select a deity affiliation.
Well, of course I'm going to go Moradin because that's the Allfather,
the dwarf,
the
lord.
Dwarf one. So now we just need a name.
Thunderhammer, obviously.
Okay.
Yes. Oh my god. She was so into it. She was so into Thunderhammer, the name. She was born for this.
So, you know, in a lot of ways, Neverwinter will be familiar to a lot of people that have played MMOs before.
Sure.
The difference is that the powers are handled a little bit differently. So you get what are called at-will powers, which are basically like your standard attacks. Is what you do most of the time. They're mapped to your right and left mouse button. Then you get encounter powers, which are your Q, E, and R buttons, these are the ones that you have on timers. And then you have your what are called daily powers, which is something like these are all actually from the actual board game of D&D as well.
Cool.
But in this, the daily power is just something that you charge up by doing things that are like stuff you should be doing as your class. So in the case of a warrior, you might be doing damage or blocking.
Sure.
And so that'll charge it up, and once you get that, then you can use the daily power.
And then it's boom, you just lay that down. Is that like kind of a one-time use?
No, it's per charge, so you can't use it all the time.
But that's what I mean. Like you charge it up, you spend all this time charging it up, you use it one time, and then you're kind of got to charge it all up again.
Right.
Okay.
So
you're just gonna leave those dudes to fight the skeleton horde? Come on.
I've already done this little intro quest before, so the whole
Okay.
point of it is that you're just kind of you talk to him, and he's like, "We're gonna hold here." Now you have to go fight off this other threat.
Continue on, Thunderhammer.
There aren't any voice acting like that for stuff like that, which I think is a little unfortunate.
Now I'm gonna read the voice acting.
And obviously, this is a beta product.
I'm ready. Is there text that I can read for this?
Well, there was.
I'm ready to reenact it.
I kind of skipped it over.
Oh my good lord! What is that?
So I mean, they're introducing the idea of like hero characters, sort of boss battles that you're gonna do.
Man, if I had the last name Shadowmantle, I feel like I would just not get picked on in school, right?
I think.
I mean, you show up in first grade and you're like, "Hey, my name is Ryan Shadowmantle."
I'm gonna be honest. I think you would get picked on a lot more.
Yeah, you think so? It would just enhance the bullying.
So one of the things about Neverwinter that I think it's not that uncommon now. If you play things like Guild Wars and stuff, the combat is a lot more action oriented.
Okay.
In a typical MMO, you're not just sitting there, letting auto attack go and just letting it do its thing, right?
Sure.
So you're actually clicking, you're actually having to aim. So like I target a character by looking at them. I don't target them by hitting tab and then just auto acquiring a target and then mashing number keys to do spells. I actually have to be aiming at them. And as you can see, as I'm doing damage, my daily meter is charging up. It's like a D20.
Great.
Slowly charging up.
Slowly but surely.
But yeah, I don't think there are a lot of surprises in this so far from what I've seen that are going to... I mean, I haven't played that far, quite honestly, although you do level pretty fast in the beginning.
You've already hit level... You literally only killed 5 things,
right,
and you already hit level 2.
Again, this whole tutorial section is kind of to teach you new things, right?
Sure.
You level up. Now I have a second...
Did you say this was just a beta, or are we
this
actually
is just
playing...
a beta. This is a beta.
Is this open or closed?
It's closed.
Okay.
There's a closed
you
beta.
got in. Look at you. High roller over here. Anthony Gallegos.
IGN affords us many special privileges, right? But yeah, so you have your 2 at-will powers, and then they're going to slowly introduce you to new powers.
Okay.
Let me see if I can just kill a couple more guys, and I should get...
Yeah, I kind of want to see one of your dailies. Oh wait, you don't. It looks like you don't have them unlocked yet, huh?
I don't, but I will. We're actually going to switch characters in just a second.
Okay.
But I just wanted to kind of give an idea of how these different abilities work. So like I said, you have your at-will powers, you have your encounter powers, and then you have your daily powers. But yeah, another thing about the combat, again, is not only do you have to aim, but you can hold shift to block. And that actually makes a really big difference. Like, that can actually, if you can do a well-timed block, you can mitigate a lot of damage.
Okay.
So in that sense, it is a lot more, action-oriented than, say, a World of Warcraft, which I think is the way that MMOs kind of seem to be heading, because Guild Wars is definitely all
very
about
action.
How fast can you roll, and how are you using the environment.
The Harbinger.
What if this guy had like a really harmless voice, like it was really high pitched? He's like, "Hello, I'm the Harbinger."
I don't think I'd be able to handle that. Right?
You wouldn't be able to handle that. Now I'm digging how the visuals here seem pretty nice, very atmospheric, very kind of dark and moody.
It's very true, I think, to that sort of Dungeons and Dragons,
the dark fantasy
world. Yeah, I mean, and this is a free-to-play game, so this will be free-to-play when it launches later this year. But yeah, so now I have my first encounter power, which anybody that's played a warrior in something like World of Warcraft will be kind of familiar with. It's a charge to close the gap.
Nice. And that's on like about a 10-second timer.
Exactly. So, yeah, there we go. And yeah, see, if I had a daily power, which I'll get after this fight, I would actually already have it charged up. That D20 there in the middle of the screen is now, sorry, I'm getting distracted, is now charged. I just don't have a daily power yet. You unlock them as you play. Let me just defeat this guy, and then I'll log out and switch to a new character.
Sounds good.
So
I like how you can really just take this guy down just with shin attacks.
Obviously, again, this is a tutorial mission.
Right. They should have armored his shins better.
So yeah, I got my first daily ability, and so then if I hit that, see, it actually
Boom.
It uses up that D20.
Red screen ability.
It's okay. So I can show you what it does actually.
Oh, get the treasure chest.
My first sword.
The battle-scarred longsword.
So let me just log out real quick. So now we're logged in with a level 16 Guardian fighter named Chuff, that's like my standard dwarf character name.
Of course.
So after you reach a certain level, you know, not only do I have access to a bunch more powers, I can actually show you how that progression goes. So encounter powers, it's kind of just in this tree, and as you go, you unlock them, but you can only ever have 3 out at a time. So you do have to kind of make, you know, like in something like Diablo, right, where you had a much smaller skill bar, you have to make those.
You have to make hard decisions.
You do, and it comes down to like how you want to play your Guardian fighter, right? Like I also have, for instance, I have my regular attack that you saw me using with my level 1 Guardian fighter.
Sure.
And then I also have this one instead of the shield bash, which actually allows me to recoup some hit points. I've actually unlocked a bunch of different daily powers too, which again, these all come down to like how you want to play.
Okay. Would you say there's a pretty big variety in builds? Or, I mean, you're kind of early on in the game still,
obviously,
right?
yeah. So obviously, when you play a Guardian fighter, you know, you are a warrior, right? You're there to fight. You're there to defend. But you can do through these Paragon trees, you can do a little bit of specialization. So you have to first do specialization here, where and as you can see, like you do have to make hard choices when you're in these trees. So I've been going all tank. So I increased my toughness. I increased my durability, but I could have just as easily increased my damage, you know, my damage output. But I've been building my warrior to be very much the tank in a dungeon.
Yeah, you don't want to get screwed over. You got to take that damage.
Eventually, you get all the way up to here, and then you can do stuff with these trees over here, where you can do like, you know, you can do the Guardian specialization, which you specialize in being able to take a ton of damage, or you can do Conqueror, where you do a ton of damage. You know, so you can. What's
a tactician do?
So
constantly thinking and planning.
Yeah, so I can show you. So this is the one where you know your cooldowns on all your encounter abilities go down. So this is where you'll be using your abilities a lot to kind of help.
Okay.
But I think you know you'd still be a fighter. Like no matter which of these trees you do, you're still a fighter. I mean, you are. When you pick that class in the beginning, you are somewhat tied into a role, right? So. But this just allows you to do a degree of customization, you know, that not every Guardian fighter, if you and I both made a Guardian fighter and we played a lot, like we aren't going to end up the same.
Got it.
And then you can also take companions. So I have Squawk the Hawk.
Yes! Oh, this is the best part of the commentary.
Yeah,
Squawk the Hawk.
And so you get
with 5 A's or 4 A's? 5 A's.
So you get you can buy these with real money, or you'll be able to, and then you'll also be able to get them through stuff in the game.
Okay.
When they level up like mine has, you can actually you have to send them away for them to level. So I'm going to it'll take 3 minutes.
Is that hard for you, man? Just seeing your Squawk the Hawk just leave you for a while?
Well, you could always pay to have it go faster if you wanted.
I see. And here's where the payments come in.
So now I'm going to show you. I mean, I'm way over leveled for this dungeon. One thing I think is cool about this compared to some other MMOs is you hit regular campsites, and when you hit a campsite, that's a respawn point in a dungeon. So it's like a checkpoint in a dungeon.
Cool.
And I don't know if you've ever been in an MMO and have wiped, like everyone died, but that is brutal, you know, and you have to restart or walk all the way back from the beginning. I actually saw that trap. I shouldn't have gotten hurt by it. As a dwarf, I actually have a skill called dungeoneering, so I can actually see traps before I got to them. I just was spacing.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You were talking about MMOs. So you were talking about when you're partying with people and you don't all want to get wiped in the dungeon. How does partying actually work in this game? Do you have a cap for how many people you can play with? Is it pretty easy to group up?
It's the standard sort of group size that most MMOs use. I think when I was partying with people in a dungeon yesterday, there were 5 of us, you know, and we had our sort of standard composition, right? A healer, a tank, and then like 3 damage dealing classes to kind of balance it out, or maybe an off tank.
Can any class function, can be built for any of those roles, or
I don't think so.
Do certain classes kind of lead into those roles?
Yeah, so granted, I haven't had a chance to really dive into this game.
Sure.
I've only had a little bit of time with the beta, but I would
take
say
this with a grain of salt,
I would say that they are a lot more specialized. You know,
okay.
They don't want you to necessarily, you know, you're not going to build a rogue that's tanking, for instance, right? A rogue has a role. They're sneaky. They're damage dealers. They're supposed to hide.
The cleric is obviously going to be an apt healer.
Right, and a cleric also, you know, usually they're a bit more squishy, as we often say. But yeah, so, you know, this warrior has a lot of abilities that, again, are going to be familiar to many people that have played this sort of game before. Like, I can do, if I hit R, and well, I killed him because I'm over-leveled for this. But if they try and run, that would be like a slow hamstring, if you're familiar with that ability in World of Warcraft. I know that's a reference I keep making, but it's just because I've played a lot of World of Warcraft.
Sure, as many people have.
But, you know, the whole thing about their dungeons is they want them to feel like a D&D sort of dungeon, right? You encounter a gate, and it's closed, and you have to find the lever to open it. Again, nothing that you haven't done in other MMOs, but they really do want to kind of sell that D&D universe. And one cool thing that I think that they're including with it that's coming out is this Forge. And in Forge, you can craft your own quests and dungeons from scratch. You can edit them and build them, and then share them, and then share them with people. So like they would go in and it would have like Ryan's quest, like Thunderhammer has been captured, blah blah blah.
You gotta rescue Thunderhammer.
Exactly, and then you can offer rewards and stuff like that. And
the Dark Lord of Shadowmantle has stolen away Thunderhammer and his keep.
So exactly, you already have the idea.
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm writing this quest right now, Anthony.
But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to give sort of an initial overview and let people see it. You know, a lot of people haven't had a chance to really see anything outside of cinematic trailers and whatnot for Neverwinter. And, you know, I want to spend more time with it. I know, I'm way over leveled for this.
That poor guy didn't stand a chance.
I just wanted to give sort of Squawk just came back.
Squawk's back! Squawk!
I just wanted to kind of give everyone an idea of, you know, you can see how a class progresses. You know,
sure.
At level 1, you don't have that much, right? But then by level 16, I've gained all these. Oh, it's time to charge this guy. I've gained all these new abilities. You know, I'm actually having to make choices about which of the few abilities I'm going to keep in my skill bar. I'm finally unlocking daily abilities that I can use. You know, there's a lot that has changed, and so far it seems like you definitely are earning a lot of powers and stuff. You're always getting something new. You know, it's not like one of those games you're going to play for a long time and not feel like you're necessarily progressing in any sort of significant way. From what I've seen so far, you know, it's hard to say. And you also get to do a little bit of point specialization too as you level up.
Awesome.
So it does seem like there is a high degree of character customization, which is kind of important in any MMO. But yeah, we're gonna keep on playing Neverwinter as it comes out. It should be out very soon, actually. It sounds like, you know.
2013.
Oh, it's for sure this year. So we'll be playing a lot more Neverwinter. Like I'm running and getting arrows stuck in my body. But yeah, so if you guys are playing it, let us know what you think. And for a lot more on Neverwinter and MMOs like it, you should go to IGN.
Thunderhammer!